Avengers Doomsday might have been delayed, but it did not stop us from getting even more insane news about the movie. They taketh, but they giveth. And we've officially gone 0 days without a Doomsday update. Because not only do we get more details onto why the movies were delayed, we got more story details and rumors on who could be appearing in the movie, how this affects Spider-Man Brand New Day, and how we're getting a Ghost Rider in this movie. Yeah, you heard that right. And either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. And man, you know what? Doom! You looking for this? To quickly catch you up to speed from the massive news we got yesterday about Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, both movies were officially delayed 7 months. Both movies shifted from May of their respective years to December of their respective years. So Doomsday now comes out December of 2026, and Secret Wars comes out December of 2027, which I feel like the initial and natural human reaction is, why? How could they do this? But as I explained,
I see this as an absolute win.
And literally everything I explained in my video yesterday was confirmed today. Because the reason Avengers Doomsday was delayed to allow the creative team more time to execute their gargantuan vision that they have. You need people to execute your vision.
Execute their vision.
With insiders noting that these two films are among the biggest ever made in any medium. And the delays simply just give the creatives more time, the visual effects workers more time to execute the vision to the best of their abilities. And on top of that, we also learned that Disney and Marvel Studios elected for a December release date, given the success they've had in the holiday corridor with titles like Spider-Man No Way Home, which grossed almost $2 billion in a pandemic, which, like I've been saying, is a massive W, because anything worth waiting for is worth having. Patience is a virtue, because what is grief if not love persevering? But I think we ain't done yet. Job's not finished. Because according to somewhat reliable industry insider Jeff Snyder, during the Hot Mic podcast, he reported that Ghost Rider is set to appear in Avengers Doomsday, and Marvel Studios are currently looking to cast for the role. But on top of that, this was corroborated and actually reported upon 4 months ago by somewhat reliable scooper, Apocalyptic Horseman, who said that there's been a lot of talk about Ghost Rider behind the scenes at Marvel Studios and that it's actually happening. They didn't have an idea about it being a solo project or Midnight Suns or which Ghost Rider exactly it is, but the plan is to introduce him to have a big role in Doomsday. Let's go ahead and pump the brakes on that motorcycle right there and dissect it, because I'm not seeking penance for what I've done, neighbors. I'm asking forgiveness for what I'm about to do. This shit means something to me! And I'm sure we all had an inkling or a feeling that Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider was going to appear in Secret Wars, since that's going to be everyone coming back. But the fact that they're looking to cast this role means that they're looking for the MCU's version of Ghost Rider. But on top of that, saying that he has a big role in Doomsday could also add on to the fact of why Doomsday was delayed, because if they don't even have Ghost Rider cast who's supposed to have a big role in the movie, what are we doing? But that leads me to which actor is going to play the MCU's version of Ghost Rider. But also, which Ghost Rider are we getting? Because there's been so fucking many. I mean, it's most likely going to be Johnny Blaze, since he's the most popular one, followed by Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch, and then obviously the Phantom Rider himself, Carter Slade. Could it be Norman Reedus, who has been fan cast to death as Ghost Rider? I actually wouldn't mind him being a Carter Slade, just because he's too damn old at this point. I've seen the Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider. Shit, I would be happy if they just brought back Diego Luna as Robbie Reyes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because he's incredible. But the one actor who has been most rumored and sought after by Marvel Studios is none other than Ryan Gosling. And I'm letting you know right now, if Ryan Gosling becomes Ghost Rider, he's literally me. I'm going to become the most insufferable person on planet Earth just so I can run my agenda of this being literally me. I mean, look how fire and cold this looks. You know, if he actually does have a big role in Doomsday, I wonder what it could be. I mean, Ghost Rider is such a cool concept. It's metal as fuck that even the 2 movies that they made that are bad still have some of the hardest moments I've ever seen. Like Ghost Rider riding his motorcycle up a fucking skyscraper.
What's the suspect's location?
What? The suspect is going up.
And having a man who literally drives be that man? Kevin, Russo brothers, take my money. But again, take it with a grain of salt. We'll just have to wait and see. But on top of that, according to Unbox PhD, who if you've been keeping up with on Twitter, is the person who's been leaking the set photos of like the Sentinel and the set of Avengers Doomsday X-Men Mansion. According to them, Domino was reportedly seen on set of Avengers Doomsday. Additionally, so was Deadpool and Wolverine. This one I'm having trouble believing just because I don't really trust this Unbox PhD person. But they do have access to the set. I don't know how they're getting these images and shit or how they know this information. So I just thought I would throw it out here, but I'm not really going to buy this one until I actually see it for myself. But if this is true, I would love this. With the amount of OG X-Men that we're getting, it would make a lot of sense for them to factor in Domino, Deadpool, Wolverine, some way, somehow. Shit, maybe even throw Cable in there. But I personally thought they would save her return for that Deadpool and X-Men ensemble movie that Ryan Reynolds is writing, which is most likely going to be X-Force. I feel like it makes way more sense for her to show up there than in Doomsday. But either way, it looks like we're getting Zazie Beetz back as Domino. Shit, that power of luck is coming in handy.
It's hard to picture.
And this also might have a cascading domino effect on a Spider-Man Brand New Day, which now releases before Doomsday, further adding fuel to the fire that this is going to be a much more grounded film. But it also could mean that Spider-Man Brand New Day also gets delayed. It hasn't officially been delayed yet, still has that release date of July 31st, 2026, and this is a Sony movie anyway, so regardless of what Marvel Studios and Disney does with delaying all of their movies, I don't think Sony's going to change or budge, but they probably should to try to make this the best movie possible, because I've been saying for a long time with the new creative team on this could be the best MCU movie for Spider-Man. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the filmmaking timeline for Spider-Man Brand New Day, because I think when you take a look at it, it definitely seems like it's going to be released for the same exact reasons the Avengers movies are being released, because right now it currently, filming is set to begin in August, and that means it probably wraps around November, December, maybe even January, which would leave less than a year for post-production, which is basically the same timeline that the two Avengers movies had. And that's just not realistic. So it would make sense for them to push it to, I don't know what date that would be, because you go July 31st, 2026, right into Doomsday in December. Maybe they move it to, I don't know, November. What happens? Will Spider-Man move again to being in between Doomsday and Secret Wars? Because right now Doomsday comes out after Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it'll be interesting. And like I said, it's mainly a Sony decision, since they kind of have Disney by the balls with Spider-Man, but it is what it is. But another interesting thing is Fantastic Four. After that, this July, we're not going to have a Marvel movie until the next Spider-Man movie. So if it gets pushed to July 2026, that's already a year. But if it pushes even further, we're going to go months, almost a year and a half without watching a Marvel movie. That's crazy. We haven't had that since the pandemic. And in taking a look at Disney's upcoming slate for their Marvel movies, or basically the MCU's upcoming movies, this is what we're looking at right here. So we got Fantastic Four First Steps in July 25. We got Spider-Man Brand New Day, July 26. Doomsday, December 26. And then there's an untitled MCU movie that's supposed to release in July 27. Then we get Avengers Secret Wars in December 27. And then the next three movies are all entitled. One in February 28, one in May 28, and then one in November of 28. So this is the upcoming slate. I feel like I have a pretty good idea on what some of these untitled MCU movies are. So let's go ahead and speculate, because I'm curious. I got a really strong feeling that July 2027 date is probably going to end up being Doctor Strange 3, whatever that may be. I have a hard time believing that they're not going to tie in the third movie of that, since that's directly dealing with incursions in the dark dimension and shit. I feel like that one makes the most sense to come out between Doomsday and Secret Wars. And then February 2028, these next two I feel like could swap. It doesn't really matter. So either February 2028 or May 2028, I think I'm going to go with Black Panther 3 and then the X-Men reboot. I think we're getting the X-Men reboot in 2028. We already know they're starting to move on getting a director, writer. So that they're pretty much only like 3 or 2 years away. So that makes sense for the X-Men movie. And then, you already know Black Panther 3 is happening. Denzel has talked about it. Ryan Coogler has talked about it. So it's definitely got to be one of those 28 movies. And then the last one, if I had to just take a wild guess, give us Shang-Chi 2. Like, what are we waiting for? We need a Shang-Chi 2. I love that movie. So I'm thinking that's what October 28 is. And yeah, they got to get this one right. So I'm loving the fact that they've delayed it. Give more room to breathe. Let them get their vision correctly and give us two of the best Avengers movies of all time. Because with an ensemble cast like this, you're gonna need all the time you could get, and time's running out. But either way, I'm gonna give this news 4 big dooms. But let me know what you think about this news and my theories down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.